Hello YouTube, and hello to all the wonderful people on the worldwide interweb. This is Kilowatt Delta 9 Charlie Tango Sierra, and we are going to be talking about guitars today, not ham radios. More specifically, we're going to be talking about the rolling string bender. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a string bender is, it's a mechanism on a guitar that raises up a certain string, a full step, typically a full step. And traditionally, the string bender would be used on the B string of the guitar. Should be here. The Eagles, the Birds, all used string benders. Actually, Clarence White from the Birds was the first to use one. And Brad Paisley, if you're familiar with his music, he uses a G bender, which would go on this string here, the G string. So in modern music, you typically hear the string benders in country music. And this guitar is used for that purpose. So when it comes to string benders, the problem is that they're awful expensive, and they have to be fit into the body of the guitar typically, which requires a professional to route out the backside of the guitar. And whenever you do that, you take a chance at ruining the body and changing the sound of the instrument. Enter Rolling Bender, who I am not affiliated with, except to the extent that I'm a very happy customer. This video is being filmed in November of 2017. I bought my first rolling bender in December of last year. I have owned it for 11 months. In that time, I've put it through its paces. I feel like it's been a very good quality product. I have had no issues with the string staying in tune when using the bender. I've had no issues of string breaking or string breakages. It's just a really good working product that's easy to install. You can install it in about an hour and set it up properly. And it requires no modification and no drilling holes to the instrument, which is really nice. It also is a fraction of the price of a typical Parsons style bender, which then again does require the body of the guitar to be routed out. And that could mean shipping it off and getting it back. But this you can do yourself. And again, it's the rolling bender cost about $170 each. I am not a fan of the people that do unboxing videos and reviews on things that they haven't had for very long. I like people to be able to put something through their paces, or put it through its paces, rather, and do a review after they've owned it for a while. And I feel that you can get a better grasp for the quality of a product after you've owned it for about a year. In this case, I would buy this product again. And obviously I did. As you can see, I have a second rolling bender on my G string. So this is a double bender Telecaster. Now, I mentioned before that the rolling bender does not require any kind of modification to the instrument. And that's true. It doesn't require it. But if you like to, you can buy a kit for about $100. Excuse me. Ignore this. That right there, where this bolt is, that's a separate kit that you can get to make to put the B bender or the rolling bender on a belt loop puller, to where you would attach it with a carabiner to your belt loop and pull the guitar away from you, and you can activate the bender that way. And then if you want to add a second bender, one for your G string, you could use this as a palm lever. Now that's what they say. In fairness to them, it probably would work fine for somebody with smaller hands. I have pretty large hands. I found that when I put them next to each other and had one on a puller and the other as a palm lever, I couldn't couldn't quite activate one without activating the other. So I went my own route, and after I installed this bender, and I planned on doing it the whole time anyway, but I installed a mechanism much like the Parson style bender on the back of the Telecaster. You have a couple tension springs. I got a turnbuckle here for adjustment, some set collars, and what it happens is here I got the Dunlop strap lock here and here. I can attach my strap to this one if I don't want to use the bender. If I want to use the bender, then I can just put my strap on that one. And when you pull down on the neck, it activates the G bender. Let's see if I can do this without dropping the guitar. There we go. So I have adjustments here. I have a stop to stop it from coming all the way forward and over traveling. And I have a mechanism here with an adjustment to where I can stop the travel here and not exert extra unnecessary force on the cable. I would like to get a different roller. This is actually out of a cabinet latch, but it works well. I just don't really care for the way it looks. I experimented with a couple different types, and this is what works, but I'm not quite done with it yet, even though it is totally functional. So we have, I drilled a hole through the G-bender loop there at the bottom of the lever. I'm sorry, I didn't drill a hole. I tapped a hole and put a small bolt in there. And we have, our cable is actually out of an old weed eater throttle cable. The terminal ring electrical connector sandwiched between two nuts. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And it is working really, really well. Sure do like it. So, in order to keep my my shirt buttons from getting popped off, I took a 1x10 and I made basically a cutout. You can see it's raised. And I don't have it on at the moment, but I took some 1/4-inch plexiglass and made a plexiglass back for the whole guitar to protect the player and the mechanism itself. Now, the pros to the rolling bender, I've kind of already stated. It's reasonably priced. It holds up well. It doesn't create any issues with tuning or string breakages. The product is ambidextrous, more or less. I'm going to say ambidextrous because technically rolling is upside down. If this were on a right-handed guitar, the person, somebody in the audience would be able to look at it and read it. In this case, being on a left-handed guitar, it's upside down to them, right side up to me. You've got adjustments here. I really am hard-pressed to say anything negative about the rolling bender. I do wish that the channel, the hole that the end of the string passed through, which you can't see, the ball end of the string is concealed right now. It's tucked away underneath that. That's just how it's designed. But to pass the end of the string through, once you get towards the ball where the string has been wrapped around, if you're running the G string through that small hole, it kind of tends to hang up there towards the very end of the string where the ball is, the wire of the string is wrapped around the ball. It kind of hangs up. That's, I guess, if that's the only complaint I have, then I'm doing pretty well. There really isn't anything to really ding this product on. It's a good product. Obviously, it is because I bought a second one. So, anyhow, oh yeah, before I go, I want to encourage you that if you decide to buy a rolling bender, and you think that you might use it on the B, let's say, and you have intentions of buying another one and using it on the G, then be sure to let Kenny, the owner, Kenny Rolling, know that you're planning on having a double bender guitar, because in order to have these two benders side by side, he has to mill down a small little lip that exists and he has to take that off so that they can sit next to each other and get along, and you'll have room to operate. But that's a simple procedure, and he's really good about getting back to you and answering your questions. So, hey, if you don't have a rolling bender, you should get one. Take it from me. I've had one for almost a year now, and no real complaints. So, anyhow, this is Kilowatt Delta 9, Charlie Tango Sierra, saying 73 for now.